What's up YouTube? It's your girl Yoga by Biola here with a new YouTube video today. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to do full hanamanusana or full splits safely. You're going to need a few tools. You're going to need your yoga mat and 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have 2 yoga blocks, go ahead and grab 2 thick-ass Harry Potter books. Those will work just fine, and meet me back here on your mat in a hot second. Welcome back, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the first thing you want to consider when moving into your full splits safely, and that's opening up through the hamstrings. So we're going to go ahead and stretch our hamstrings. Draw your left knee forward and just find a half hanamanusana, a half split, by just lengthening out your left leg. Now you can use the blocks here on either side to help you find support. The higher your blocks, the more support you have. The lower your blocks, the more you're dropping in and asking of a stretch in your hamstring. So every breath, just use every exhalation to drop in to the hamstrings to expand through the body here. Opening up. When you're ready, move on to your next side, your right side, find your half split, and we'll move on to the second tip to make sure you're doing these safely. The second tip to consider when moving into full splits or full hanamanusana is to make sure your psoas are open. Now your psoas are located on the front of your hips here, and then the muscles that help you pick up your legs when you walk. When you think about splitting the legs or coming into a full hanamanusana, not only do your hamstrings have to be lengthened and open, but your front of your thighs, the psoas and the quads need to be just as open. So a great stretch to move into that is lizard pose. Once again, go ahead and extend your left leg forward, but this time you're going to drag your right knee back a little bit. Heel toe your left foot out so your left leg is wide, and you can hold here to open up the quads and the psoas, or you can extend the left hand up, windmill it back, bend the knee, and capture the foot for a more active stretch in the psoas. Notice that I'm still using my block here. The higher my block, the more support I have, the lower I drop my block. Once again, the more that I'm asking for my quads and my psoas to open. So you can always use the block here for additional support to open up through the psoas. Hold here on each side for about 3 to 5 rounds of breath when you're moving into your full splits. Go ahead and move on to the opposite side when you're ready, and we'll move into our final and third tip. Our third and final tip for when you're doing hanamanusana to ensure you're doing it safely is to make sure you're squaring the hips towards the front of where you're aligning. So making sure that the hips are squared and drawn forward, one's not trailing too far behind you, just to make sure you're extended and in alignment in this posture. What that means is go ahead and just come into a half hanamanusana. Make sure both hips are drawn forward here, noticing that when you tend to lengthen out the left glute and your right shin kicks back, if your hips are kind of lopsided and full split, you're putting undue pressure in certain parts of the body that's going to make and stress certain parts of the body more than others. You want to be in alignment in this pose just because you're asking of so much from your hamstrings and the fronts of your hips and psoas and quads, just to make sure that you're not putting any undue stress or pressure on the muscles. From there, we're going to come into our full split. The best way to come into your full split, your full hanamanusana safely, is through a half hanamanusana. So you're going to start once again where we've been starting with our left leg forward. My 2 blocks are alongside me on the highest height to begin with, and I'll just start by lengthening out my left knee. From here, I'm already in my half split. I'm going to check and make sure my psoas on the right side feel nice and open here. I'm going to make sure that my hips are squared so I'm not trailing my left hip bone back, but my right hip bone is drawn forward. And then I'm going to slowly begin to come into my full splits. I'm going to extend my right knee back, and each time dropping and dragging the hips down. So the blocks are still pretty high. I have a lot of support here. I feel ready to go ahead and draw my blocks down to the middle height, and I'm going to hold here. I'm going to slowly continue to let my hips sink, Continue to find your depth and hold in your depth so that you can create a muscle memory within the body. And that might be where you are today. Don't push beyond a point of extreme and excessive passion or sensation. Just want to feel a little bit of sensation where you start to lengthen and then slowly allow yourself to come out of it. I'm going to hold here and I'm going to extend my heart forward to drop my hips a little bit more, continuing to turn my right knee down so my hips are squared, and then I'm going to slowly extend my heart. Now I feel ready to move my blocks completely out of the way and then just hold here and let my right psoas respond. My psoas tend to be the tightest part of my body, and so they're the ones that kind of tense up in my split. So I'm gonna just hold here and just continue to move in and out through my hips, left and right, just creating a little bit more space, and then lifting and I'm gonna hold. I might extend my hands towards the heavens here and hold. I'm going to root my hands back in my block, push my hands into the earth. Ooh, I'm going to drag my floor up and just kickstand my left knee back. I'm going to wiggle out my hips here and release through the hips. Go ahead and make it onto your opposite side so that each side is balanced when you're ready. Let's go ahead and review those 3 tips. The first one you want to make sure when you're moving into hanamanusana and split safely is you want to make sure you have some support. You want to have some blocks with you, something to support you as you drop down into the splits over time. Number 2 is you want to make sure that your psoas and your hamstrings are open, so the back of the thighs and the front of the thighs and hips are nice and expanded. And lastly, you want to make sure that your hips are squared to the front of the room, just to make sure you're not doing any undue pressure or an excessive amount of pressure on certain points of the body. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you found it to be very engaging and educational for you. If you have any questions or have any recommendations for other poses that you'd like to learn how to do safely, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow your girl on Yoga by Biola on Instagram. I'll see you next Monday with a new video. Peace.